TradingNut, episode 33.
The only way you can get that experience is when you actually go and trade and press those buttons saying yes or no to those trades.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the TradingNut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got a past guest of the show back on. His name's Ivo Luhse, and he's a robot trader from Ireland. And it's a bit of a 2-for-1 episode, right? So he learned from another guy that was on the show, another trader from New Zealand, funnily enough, fellow Kiwi, Andrew Mitchum. Now, he was episode 36 of the 52 Traders podcast. Now, you guys can go back onto TradingNut and get access to those episodes. They are premium episodes, so go and check it out, see how you get access to them. And couple of really good episodes, actually. But you're going to hear from Ivo again today, and whether or not this episode's better, I'm sort of 50-50. I think it probably is, actually. I think it's probably better than the very first episode I did with him, purely because we've got some history here, and I know exactly what he's been doing, and we get an update as well. And on top of that, the thing that I love about this interview is we did a second little, I think it's like a 3 or 5 minute piece after the show, in video, where Ivo actually walked us through his live account. So you get to see his real live accounts. It's there for you to see, which is not that common these days. And also to get sort of proof that it's a live account, it's not that common. So we get to see his live account. We get to see the actual strategy that he's trading these robots with, and how they execute the trades on the chart. And you'll learn a lot. Trust me, you will learn a lot by just looking at this one video that we did. It's up on the YouTube channel, so go and check that out. Now, talking about robots, there's stuff going on with the Robot Traders Club. Now, some of you have seen that it has had a closed sign up for the past few weeks. Now, it has reopened. Well, it is open again to new members. But to get access to it, you need to go into the members area, and that's the only place at the moment whilst you're listening. If you're listening to this in the future, it will probably be somewhere else for you to see, which is more obvious than in the members area. But for now, it's changed format. The information is in the members area as to what's changed, and I'm actually updating that very soon as well to even sort of more detailed information. And there are now 4 options to come on board. Okay, there's 4 ways to come on board the Robot Traders Club. Now, I know you're going to love it. I think what I've done is fantastic. It's going to make it so much more powerful than what it was before, which is what the main thing, to get you guys some really high quality automated trading robots. Now, on top of that, we've also got the Robot Builders Club, which was my old Automate My Trading course. So it's a new course. It's a 2.0 course, and I've had a few guys trickling through. Now that's opening the doors very soon as well. And in actual fact, I'm going to do a webinar very soon to let you guys know all about these 2 things and how they've changed and what's new. And I'll probably give away a free robot as well on the webinar. So stay tuned for that. But for now, guys, get into the show with Ivo, and I hope you learned something. I sure did, and definitely check out the video at the end of it. All right, here we go. All right, folks, so we got Ivo Luhse back on the show here. Now, Ivo was a guest of the 52 Traders podcast 2 years ago, and he trades robots, and we had a pretty good show back then talking about how he got into this thing, and I wanted to get him back on to talk about man versus machine. Is algo trading what it's cut out to be? Is it the way forward, or what is it? How does it work versus manual trading? That sort of debate, along with just getting an update on how he's been going, because it has been 2 years, and also maybe we'll touch on crypto as well. So. Ivo, how are things over there in Ireland?
Hey Cam, well, thanks for inviting me back. Yeah, all going pretty well here in Ireland, and happy holiday in New Zealand today.
Yes, it's Anzac Day here today, so we're celebrating the, well, not celebrating, just what's the word? It's commemorating. That's it. Commemorating the soldiers who fought in the war over there in Gallipoli in Turkey. And I actually went there once when I was over in Turkey. I was there for Anzac Day, where these soldiers were all killed on this beachhead. So yeah, it's quite a big day here, and I know the kids at school study it for months on end. Because it is quite a significant event for most of Australia and New Zealand. So yeah, look, that's what we're doing here today. But we're not here about that. We're here about talking about what you've been up to in the last couple of years. So maybe start off with that and sort of possibly lead in with letting the guys who don't know who you are, telling them a bit about yourself.
Yeah, no problem. So well, let's start with what I am and how long I've been trading first, and then I kind of lead into the stuff what I've been doing for the last couple of years. So I started trading back in 2006. So it's been around quite a long journey already for me, although it doesn't feel like that. But I've been trading full time since 2012, and that's really where I would say to myself, this is when I started to become a trader, because the first few years was just basically dabbling, like a hobby type of thing. So I kind of wasted the first 6 years probably, and then since 2012, that's when I took it really serious. And but I trade mostly with bots. Well, with bots now, full time now. I started as a manual trader, so I learned the strategies, technical strategies, and then I decided why do I need to do all the work myself? We can get the bots to do that things for me. So I continued with the same journey basically, and I use the difference probably with most of the bot traders, or the regular bot traders that you see out there. I kind of use the bots more as really a tools for me how to trade. So for example, I have at this moment I have 120 bots running there on multiple pairs, multiple currencies, multiple time frames, and then they just scan for the signals for the rules that I'm looking for, and they just send me the messages when those setups appear, and then I tell them to trade those setups when I think they're something that I want to trade. So that is basically how I trade, and that's how I got into trading. And for the last 2 years, I've basically been developing all these a lot of cool stuff for my trading, and for other guys that are interested into algo trading.
Now, 120 bots. I don't believe you had 120 2 years ago when we spoke. Is that right?
No. When I say the 120, they're basically I have on multiple charts. So there's different variations of the bots.
Right.
But I have multiple platforms running all the time, and just basically scanning as many pairs, as many time frames as possible, because the opportunities will differ. Some, as everyone knows that markets changes, and you go through different cycles. So sometimes, for example, and actually what has changed since last time we spoke is I was predominantly only FX trader back then. That's all I knew, FX. But I've gone more, or not more, but I definitely look at indices now, commodities, and you mentioned crypto as well. So what I've noticed is that sometimes there's nothing. For example, now there hasn't been that much on FX market, but indices are exploding. So I trade indices at this moment. So yeah, so you need to look at quite a lot of stuff to be I think to have a good like a track record or good consistency.
And so have you found that the bots you're using with FX just, you can sort of lift and shift them onto the indices and they work fine, or did you need to do some special type of, I suppose, tweaking to make them work?
No, I use exactly the same. Slight differences for indices that I do respect the overall trend with indices, because once they start to move, up, they're just going to follow the trend. So, but the patterns are the same. The same patterns I started with trading when I started learning trading manually. The candlestick patterns, and this is basically how most of my bots are coded around these candlestick patterns, and that's what I trade mostly. Yeah, but I trade even on crypto as well. Yeah, just trade the same candlestick patterns.
And so, what would you say makes up a good strategy then?
Well, good strategy. Well, first of all, something that I think makes sense to you. So if you're going to trade it day in, day out, it has to really talk to you. It has to make sense to you. You have to, understand it really in and out. And robustness, something that works on multiple markets, multiple time frames. It basically works. It does not matter, how the markets change or what markets you trade in. So I think that is quite very, very important to continue using the same strategy. So like I said, I've been trading the same strategy since 2012.
And so when you say sort of, it's got to work across multiple markets, multiple timeframes, and is that sort of literally the exact same settings, or do you need to tweak these at all to make them work across those different timeframes?
No, exactly the same settings. That is really the key. Using exactly the same settings. I do adjust for volatility. So on crypto, I would definitely adjust for volatility because I on FX, for example, and also you would adjust for volatility depending on the time frame you trade. That would be the only thing I do, a volatility adjustment. So, for example, say on daily chart, I would go and target something like 3-hour trades, but on crypto, I would go and target 50-hour trades, because I see there's huge volatility there that we can take advantage of. So, but the patterns are the same. Candlestick patterns are the same that we trade on daily chart or on 4-hour chart on crypto.
And how complex are these candlestick patterns? I mean, are they across multiple candles or just one or two?
I'd say pretty well. To me, it's pretty simple. But they do look at where the candlestick patterns happen, what is the overall direction of the market. It looks at on daily chart we just look at daily chart, but then for example if we trade something like 1-hour chart candlestick patterns, then they always have to be with the direction of the overall daily or weekly candlestick patterns as well. So kind of multi time frame trading as well.
Okay, cool. And so I mean, we're going to sort of talk about man versus machine. I mean, you've had a bit of experience with both, by the sounds of it. What are what's your general views?
Well, I think, I'm in the camp that you need to have both. I can't see, not at this moment at least. I can't see, there's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence and they're going to take over the world and blah, blah, blah. It's probably going to happen, 10, 20 years, 30 years maybe from now, where we're going to have really so smart bots that, we none of the humans will have a hope. Like 20 years ago, we had the Deep Blue beating the world chess player, Garry Kasparov, or it was 1997, I think, so more than 20 years ago. And then recently, I think a couple of years ago, 2017, AlphaGo AlphaGo Zero beat the much more complex game of Go, like this strategy game, Chinese strategy board game, and which was thought to be hugely complex. So so they're beating us on all these strategic games already. By them I mean AI. So will they beat us in trading? I think they will, but at this moment, I think we still have a good skills that we can add in as humans as well. So at this moment where I'm, that for the next 10, 20 years, we could use the bots as the tools and basically enhance our own knowledge, and that's how I go about trading with the bots. So I use them as a tools to basically, to scan the markets for me, to manage the trades for me, to find these patterns when to trade. But I still, hold quite a large control over them. So when for example, I don't allow my bots to trade automatically. So I have a, set up they send me these chart patterns when these chart patterns happen to trade, and they just send me messages to basically take these trades, and I just by one click I say, yeah, go ahead, trade this, and then they go off and trade these patterns for me.
Right. Is that because I was interested in that, because that's what I've started doing with some of my bots, is literally realizing that, okay, overall the strategy is profitable and on its own, but to accelerate that and to make sure that I suppose it's just keeping yourself out of trouble. And if you know you're probably going to lose over a period of time going in one direction, then just like not even bothering, or if you're at a point where there's no real obvious sign that it's either going to go one way or the other, then you just stop it. And so I've sort of built that in just experimentally initially, just to see if it can work. But it's like where I can do a remote control, and I don't know how your one works. We should talk about that. But a remote control where I literally go, okay, this is buy, this is sell, and this is don't trade.
And that's probably you asked me a question before how complex your stuff is, and probably then would say that it's not that complex, because when I have this option to say yes or no to those trades, I can then run much more complex ideas myself. Where the bots take the simpler stuff, to find these candlestick patterns that I'm trading. And they alert me when these candlestick patterns appear, but then I can use much more complex my own knowledge on what's going on with the overall market, or what has been happening in the space in the last few days, and then add my own knowledge into it. So that's how I approach the trading.
And I'm actually just having a quick look at the old screenshots you sent through for the first interview we did, and it's quite interesting. I mean, I don't know why I didn't notice this in the first instance, but you're making some significant profit here, and I think this does it tell you over a day, the closed profit over a day? Oh no, that's total. But it's some good numbers popping up here. So it does sort of give, I suppose, proof that this type of approach works. And what it's really telling me is that if you're looking to trade bots, you're probably best to also get an education on trading the market as well, to really understand what is going on, and don't just go in blindly, which I know a lot of people do, and they just go, oh great, I can just automate it all and it'll just happen. But I think that the safer approach is to really know what's going on, so you can control it a lot better.
Absolutely, yeah, and because and that's kind of the approach is also I tell to new guys coming in with trading with bots, because they will have to work together with the bot and basically say yes or no to these trades. They are forced to actually learn stuff. They can't just go and turn on the bot and that's it. The bot will do everything for themselves. They actually have to go, okay, why do I want to press yes, or why do I want to press no to this? So it forces people to learn, definitely. And like I said, there's so many aspects in trading needed, and bots can take quite a lot of those the skills away from you, or help you with those things. But there's so many other things like emotion, your emotions, your confidence, those or even your planning, how you approach your trading, and what is your goals with your trading. So those kind of things bots can't do at this moment, at least.
And I suppose even with the robots doing a lot of the work for you, I mean, how does the emotional side play a part? I mean, and how did you overcome anything that in the past that might have been a showstopper for you?
Well, it's pretty simple for me, because I develop fully. I'm fully involved on all the development of the bot, so and the testing, and confirming the strategy edge. So it's pretty easy for me. I'm like a maths guy, so I look at the numbers and say, okay, well, this actually makes money over a long period of time. So I never have much issue with the emotional side. So I have no problem taking 10 losing trades, because I just take the next one now, and it's kind of, that's what I said, it comes with experience, and the only way you can get that experience when you actually go and trade and press those buttons saying yes or no to those trades. So if you just let the bot do it fully automatically, you're never going to get that experience. So so I think you really need to go and get that experience first yourself.
Yeah, and look, I remember when I first started in the trading space as a whole, and there was this one bot, and it's still around. It's still around, called FX Megadroid, and it all sounds all flash and that, and you've probably heard of it. It's been around for years, and I think I looked at it recently. I don't know why I looked at it recently, but I think I was wanting to grab a screenshot of it for something. Anyway, it's still the actual test results were unbelievable over the course of however many years it had been running. So it's been running like over sort of 9-10 years, and it had done really well. But when I got into it with my brother, we had no idea. Nobody has any idea how it actually picks its trade, and the risk to reward was just way off. It was like it was sort of 0.1 R or something like that. So you'd lose 6, you'd win 60 pips, you'd lose, and 10 pips you'd win. And the win rate was quite high. It was up around 90%. And then you go, well, but I still don't know how it's doing it, and I still don't know when it's going to enter exactly, and if it's going to be what's going to give it an edge. And so, because you didn't know if it was going to enter long or enter short. It was literally just it was Hail Mary black box, and you sort of thought, oh, maybe if it's going to win 90% of the time, then I could incrementally increase the lot size, and then just drop it, and I should be all right. Anyway, long story short, I don't know anyone who's stuck with it more than probably 4 months before giving up.
Black box trading doesn't work anymore. If you're going to do black box trading, you should get like a fully managed account, and that's it. And just ignore. The only way, if you want that kind of approach, black box, it will be fully managed account. You have no idea what's going on. You just basically trust the trader do everything for you. But if you're going to run bots yourself, the only way to do it if you actually fully understand what the bot's doing. So that's the approach I take, and the guys that trade with me as well, and they fully 100% understand everything what the bot is supposed to be doing for them.
And how did you get your education on the market?
Self-taught the first 6 years that kind of, like I said, it didn't go that well, just basically running around the circles. And then my first, the first mentor that taught me the candlestick pattern trading was, I think you had him on the show maybe, Andrew Mitchum, the Forex trading coach. That's how I got into candlestick pattern trading, and been trading those patterns ever since.
Cool. Okay. Now, what else are we going to talk about? Cryptocurrencies. That's right.
Yes.
So, I mean, it seems to be actually a couple of things. So, one, we had a guest on recently who was able to pick the point at which Bitcoin jumped up to 5,000 again. And we got it on video. It was absolutely fantastic. That and not literally the point it picked up, but I mean, it zoomed up. But he gave us the level. He said, look, if it crosses this trend line, it closes above, I think it was 4,200, it will go to 5K. And no word of a lie, it did exactly that about 2 weeks later. And so I mean, what are your thoughts on, like, probably, I don't even think I asked this question way back then, but where you think maybe Bitcoin will go first off?
Well, it's probably going to go either to 1 million or zero. is the answer. But now it's actually, in all seriousness, it's actually pretty good technical. Bitcoin is actually behaving pretty good technically, and you can trade it pretty successfully. I found with the standard technical analysis. I'm definitely bullish on the overall crypto market, and Bitcoin is so far the daddy and the main one, and that is the one I mostly focus on. But I don't really care where it's going to go, or I do care. I have bought a few Bitcoins and kind of like invested in them, small portion of my overall portfolio. But in terms of where it's going to go, it doesn't really matter to me, because all I do is just trade the volatility. What I want from Bitcoin is just basically to move somewhere. So it's great to see it moving back above the 4,000 resistance now. What is it now, 5.5 or something? It's edging towards the 6,000 resist or previous the support, now resistance. So that will be very, very important level. I think that will determine where's the next 12 to 18 months going to go, because there's a lot of traders. As you remember, the 6,000 support was like crazy. It was like it's been tested so many times, and then we went through it. And there's a lot of traders who are still holding on to that 6,000 when they bought the 6,000. So there's going to be a lot of traders getting out back at 6,000. So we'll see. Once we clear the 6,000 above, and close above it, I think that we're definitely going to go and reach the all-time highs again, and definitely test those. I'm really, really excited about that, because it gives me volatility, and it gives me the opportunity to cash those huge R multiple trades what crypto can offer.
And would you say you'd make more on a crypto trade than a currency trade or an indice trade?
Well, yes, when the volatility is there, definitely. So back in 2017, the volatility was massive, so you could make a lot of money. When it's even in the bear market, not so much, because the R multiples doesn't work out that well when you're shorting. But that's what I said. Once we see the break above 6 and close above 6, then definitely that'll be my main area to focus and catch those trades.
And what about the other currencies, cryptocurrencies? Do you think that anything's looking like it's going to pip the Bitcoin, the big dog?
It's hard one. I hope there will be something else, because as I like Bitcoin, and it's done an amazing job, changing basically the whole financial. Well, it hasn't changed yet, but it's just changed the viewpoint of a lot of people of how our financial system should work. So it's done an amazing job already, but there are quite a lot of problems with Bitcoin. First of all, it's pretty slow. We all know that, and it's designed to be slow. This is its main the protection mechanism. It has to be slow, so it can't be really scaled up. And the only way to scale it up is if you do off-chain solutions. And then there's other things like Satoshi Nakamoto owns like 1 million of Bitcoins now, like, and nobody knows where it is. So you can't use, imagine if we all going to start using Bitcoin everywhere, and and 10% of all of our world's money is gone missing. We don't know where it is, and we don't know where it's going to pop back somewhere. So to me, that is one issue that kind of it holds Bitcoin back, I think, with the overall usage. But I hope there will be something like I don't know, Facebook coin or something like that can be used every day by everyone really quickly, like same as everyone uses Facebook already. So maybe Amazon coin or Facebook coin, things like that, maybe it will be the next big one.
Yeah, they need to know a little bit more about us. It's they already know a lot. Now they know exactly what we're spending money on. So what about the ICOs that popped up and like they were there and everyone was diving on them? And I mean, I think I've got some as well. And I mean, what are your thoughts on those?
They're just ridiculous, wasn't it? I think I got in one ICO. It was Rentberry or something like that. This was basically a token that allows you to pay for rent and things like that. That was totally gone, and that was just stupid. I think everyone because everyone is just coming up with these wild ideas. Teenagers in their bedrooms coming up with these wild ideas, and there is no really product that they could make. I think it's gone, and it's not. It's a lesson learned for everyone, I think. But in terms of the whole idea to raise money using tokenized assets, it's actually not a bad idea. For legitimate businesses, something like small business owners like yourself and myself, it's actually would be great idea that we could have our own assets that we could tokenize and offer to people to purchase instead of long old share trading or share selling the shares of the company.
Definitely.
So there is I think there is still case for the tokenization of the businesses, but it's probably going to be more for established businesses or small established businesses, I think, rather than just white papers with just little idea of something and that's it. No actual product behind it.
Yeah, it got a bit ridiculous at the end there.
And I remember the January to December 2017 December, and my portfolio was basically doubling every day, and I was like thinking, why am I even thinking about this Forex thing? I should just put everything in crypto and that's it, because it was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was and actually that was let me have a look here. That was the dates disappeared on this thing. It was about actually March 30th. I think it was around about there, March 2017. So that was before. Was that before or just after it had peaked? Bitcoin had peaked. It was just after, wasn't it? Oh no.
No, March. So it basically peaked in January 2018.
Yeah. Or was it 2000? Was it 2018 that it peaked?
So last year.
Oh, was
so
it?
It's been.
God, it feels like it was ages ago. It feels like it was way longer than that.
It's been like 14 months
that's right.
or something.
I'm just realising that I've had 3 jobs since then, so that's probably why I'm getting confused. Right, so okay.
No, but if you actually talking about Bitcoin, if you have Bitcoin, then definitely just hold on to it. I think that the floor is in. Well, there might be another dip lower, but there's pretty when you look at technical analysis and what Bitcoin has done in the past, it looks very, very similar to the 2014, 2015 low, and it's just continued up higher. But it's really only going to start it's only going to start really to shake off when the masses fall in, jump in again, and that is typically when all-time highs are breached again. So that is when you'll hear it again in the news, and they'll be saying, "Oh, remember Bitcoin? It's broken again, 20,000." They'll be all going mad again.
Yeah,
so,
everyone will be getting their credit cards out and buying up, and then
So the key for guys who are luckily to be in still is just basically hold on to it, and by the time it hits the news, basically just get your money out. At least your risk capital, what you put in. So you're just basically riding the free money then. So when it hits 20, you should be really out with your money that you put in already.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen to them.
Yeah. Listen to this, guys. Anyway, so, okay, that's crypto sort of done and dusted. Now, what have you got coming up for you? Because before you answer that, I was quite interested to find out, and somehow this didn't come across in the first interview, that most of your, well, by and large, the majority of what your income comes from the trading robots that you run personally. And but I don't think it came out in the first interview, and it was interesting that you mentioned that to me before we started this interview, and I was unaware of that. So I'm interested to hear what you've got going up or coming up in the future.
Well, I'm really, really heavily developing my own actually trading platform, or bot platform where I can trade bots much more easily. So at this moment, I use the good old MT4, I use the good old MT4 for a long time, and as you know, it's actually done a great job for us, individual bot developers, bot traders, that you'll be able to go and code up your own bots pretty easily. But it's kind of run its course, and it's getting it's not up to the job anymore, to the most the latest requirements for running bots. So basically, have a small team of people now. We're developing our own algo platform where you can run these strategies, multiple bots, and they can signal you about all these ideas or these patterns that we're looking for, and calculate all the probabilities, calculate all the statistics at the same time as you get signals. So so that is basically my main, apart from trading, which doesn't take much now. That is my main focus, what I'm working on this moment. So that's ongoing progress, and hopefully by the end of this year we'll have it finished.
Brilliant. Well, look, thanks for coming back on the show, Ivo. It's been great having you back, and catching up and finding out where you've got to in the last couple of years. It sounds like you've been a busy guy. So what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
They can check. They can use my website. It's dara.trade. So it's DARA. So it stands for Decision Aiding Robo Advisor. And my email is Ivo. That's IVO at dara.trade.
Brilliant. All right, guys. So we'll put those links in the show notes and have all the quotes from the show over there as well. Right. So look, thanks for coming back on the show. It's been a pleasure having you, and I wish you all the best for the future. Maybe we'll get you on again. Who knows?
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, and hopefully there was some useful information for folks out there who are interested in their own developing or trading with the bots.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much, Ivo, and we'll have all the best for the future.
Have a good one.
So there we go, guys. Interview done with Ivo number 2. Now, as I said, the video that we shot just after we finished recording that is worth its weight in gold. So head over to the YouTube channel. There should be links in the description, either on your podcast app, or if you're on the website, just have a look below. It should be sitting there. And do remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because look, there's a ton of videos on there, and I've actually categorized them into a little playlist of almost mini courses. And watching even those, and I think there must be probably 7 or 8, maybe 10 there now, you can pretty much build or create your own trading strategy using some of those techniques, because they're fantastic educational pieces for any newbie or even advanced trader. I mean, look, geez, I've been in the markets for 10 years, and the stuff I've learnt in these little video clips over and above the podcast has been phenomenal. So please, if you haven't checked them out, maybe go through, jump onto the YouTube channel and go to the mini courses playlist. Chuck it up on your Apple TV or your whatever, your Chromecast or whatever it is, and just binge watch all the series that are there at the moment. And trust me, it's probably going to only be maybe an hour's worth of footage, but there's going to be so much in that hour's worth of footage. I know you're going to be watching that time and time again. So guys, go and do that, and be sure to subscribe for the next videos that come up, because it doesn't end there. I've got another 2 fantastic videos coming up on the back of fantastic podcast episodes as well. I know you're going to want to catch up with those as well. So guys, make sure you do subscribe on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast as well if you haven't already. And if you really want to keep in contact with what's going on, put your email address in, create that free members account, and there's some free bonus content in there over at TradingNut.com. All links are in the description. Easy enough for you to jump on your phone whilst you're walking or whatever, finish your drive, jump on there, click the links, get in there, and add yourself so you don't miss out. All right, folks, until next week, have a great trading week, and I'll see you in the markets.